you have it in soups and some of you have it in other places, but anyway, this is what barley looks like. It's our breeding trials. I wanted to show you this because this is high in the highlands of Syria. It's the Croc du Chevalier. Chevalier is cavalry, the Croc is the castle. If you look at this castle, it's a very dominating structure. It has 2 lions built over the entryway, which meant that Richard the Lionheart built the entryway to that castle. Okay? It is huge. It has its moat, its exterior wall, its moat, its interior wall. You can see it surveys the complete horizon. But the point I wanted to show you is, in the middle of the ruins where the bath was, that's wild barley, Hordeum spontaneum. The progenitors of our crops come home to claim what's theirs, okay? And I often think that's quite interesting. If you've never seen rye, that's what rye looks like in the field. This is what triticale looks like, a 130-year-old crop. Beautiful flowers. If it ever spilled off that seed, we'd never grow any wheat. It just never does, unfortunately. And so we've talked a lot about diversity of plants, where they came from, and I want to now show you a little about the diversity of products. And this is just a slide of wheat, okay? We have bread. We have flatbreads. This is a leavened bread. We have other pastries. We have more like donuts and English muffins, pretzels. We have the pastas, the cakes, all of those things. And all of that's based on the diversity of the plants that we have with us. Now, let's talk about the relative of wheat. Barley, okay? The barleys I breed are mainly for forage and also for feed. They can be for human consumption, but mainly in my case for animal consumption. Some of you may know the other products, which are the liquefied versions, which are beer. And I think what you don't probably know is how important beer was in, first of all, the voyages of discovery, or secondly, in moving plants back and forth. So let me explain a little bit why beer saved the world. And I apologize for those of you that are students, because I have a feeling I may be leading you on a path it's not the path I wish to take you to. Columbus's voyage to the New World. What did he take with him? Well, he took 10,000 gallons of water. Okay, now there's a problem with water. You can't store it, okay? You ever hear the expression, don't drink the water? That's true forever, okay? You put it in a wooden cask, what does it do? It gets all kinds of bacterial and other stuff, and it makes you sick, okay? So basically, every ship that went on a voyage of discovery, or any ship that went anywhere, took enough water to get them going until it spoiled, and then you had to collect fresh rainwater off the sails. And if the rains didn't come, you better have something in reserve. Well, for the officers, you took 10,000 gallons of wine. You could store that. But it happened to be expensive, and you can't use wine as a replacement for water when you're on this boat, right? You want to be 50 feet up on a mast after drinking wine instead of water all day? Don't think so. So what they would take is beer. The voyages of discovery, 50,000 gallons of beer. Now, why was that? Well, it's not because of the alcohol. The beer was low alcoholic. The antioxidants and the other antimicrobials prevented it from spoiling. Or it would take a much longer time to spoil. The born-on-date beer is a good idea, but back then they had it. So it could be stored, it was not expensive, and the crew could drink it like water when water was missing. Okay? So, if you think about this, this is what Columbus did, and then imagine how the New World opened up crops to the Old World. Now, just to put this in perspective, the importance of ship's beer. Now, this is from Mort's Relation. This is the diaries that is the first written history of the Mayflower voyages. Okay, the Pilgrims coming to America. Okay? We could not now take time for further search or consideration, our victuals being much spent, especially our beer, and it now being the 19th of December. The Pilgrims were supposed to go to Virginia, right? They stopped off in Massachusetts. Why? Because they were running out of food and they were out of beer. Now, I don't want you to think that they were making a beer run or anything, okay? But it was a serious matter. And in fact, the Mayflower Compact was to describe what they were going to do, because their land holdings were to be in Virginia, not Massachusetts, but they had to stop in Massachusetts because they were running out of their provisions. Okay? So just to give you an idea, that was important. Now, Christopher Columbus, he lands in the New World. And what does he do? He writes back, "The island is beautiful. I believe that there are many herbs and many trees that are worth much in Europe for dyes and medicines, but I do not know them, and this causes me great sorrow. There are trees of 1,000 sorts, and all of their several fruits. All have their several fruits, and I feel most unhappy man in the world not to know them. I am well assured they are valuable." Now, why did he write that? Any ideas? What was Columbus's reason for the voyages of discovery?
Spices.
Spices, exactly right. He was to go to Asia to break the Portuguese monopoly on spices. He didn't get to Asia, but he found something totally new. So he wanted to go back to his king and queen and say, "We found something valuable." Okay? What did he emphasize? The plants. The same spices that funded his trip, he was running home. You probably also don't know this. Columbus was a businessman. He was to get 10% of whatever his discoveries were worth. So that's an advertisement. Okay? Yeah. Do any of you remember the Mutiny on the Bounty? HMS Bounty? What do you think the Bounty was actually doing besides, sailing in the Pacific? It was on a planned exploration trip. What was Captain Queeg trying to do? Bring back breadfruit. Okay? So the Mutiny on the Bounty is basically a story of planned exploration that went awry. Now, how important were plants? Third president. The greatest service which can be rendered to any country is to add a useful plant to its culture, especially of red grain. That's why every ambassador went out to look for plants amongst their other duties. So now the question is, we talked a lot about where the wild species are, we talked about where they've originated, you've done all these things. Okay, now you got this new plant. You've never seen it before. I mean, the Italians had no idea what a tomato was, right? The Irish had no idea what a potato was. Nobody had ever seen corn in the Old World. And in fact, if you read corn in the Old World, it means any coarse grains. So it usually refers to wheat and barley. Like the King James Bible, that's not the New World corn. Okay? How do you get to figure out how to use that plant? And the other question is, how does that plant displace something which you've already got a plant that you're using for that purpose? Why would you switch to corn when you already have wheat? Why would you switch to wheat when you already have rice? These types of questions come up. Well, again, you have your great treasure maps, and you can see the crops that are Old World that got brought to the New World, the crops from the New World that got to the Old World. Okay, potatoes were from South America. Okay? They were widely grown in Europe, and the potato famine in Ireland was due to it escaping its pest and then the pest catching up. Okay? But how did it get popularized? Some of you may remember that Sir Francis Drake was a privateer. He came down, he looted ships all the way down the coast into the New World, swung across, came up the backside, and he sacked and looted Lima. Okay? Took the gold. What else did he take? He took potatoes. He can't go back because he knows the Spanish are looking for him, so he circumnavigates the globe and he makes a mad dash to get back to England. He's got all this loot, and he wants to impress Queen Elizabeth I. As a magnificent banquet, what does he serve? Potatoes. Now, if you're in England, and the Queen is eating potatoes, don't you think it's your royal duty to eat potatoes? So the English became potato eaters.